Picture this. The world's most brilliant mind, Albert Einstein, has just passed away. The date is April 18th, 1955. The man who changed our understanding of the universe, who gave us the theory of relativity and reshaped modern physics, is gone at the age of 76. But what happened next is a story that blurs the line between scientific curiosity and ethical boundaries. A story that would follow Einstein's legacy in the most unexpected way. Einstein was clear about his wishes. He wanted to be cremated, his ashes scattered in secret, so that no one would turn his grave into a shrine. He wanted to be remembered for his ideas, not idolized for his remains. But as his body lay in Princeton Hospital, a pathologist named Thomas Harvey saw an opportunity he couldn't resist. Harvey wasn't a brain specialist, but he was the doctor on call that night. And in a moment that would spark decades of controversy, he decided to remove Einstein's brain without permission. Imagine being Einstein's family, arriving at the hospital to collect your father's body, only to discover that his brain had already been taken. Harvey managed to convince Einstein's son, Hans Albert, to allow the brain to be studied, but only if the research was published in reputable scientific journals. The damage, however, was already done. Harvey's actions had crossed a line, and the collision between science and ethics had begun. Harvey's obsession with Einstein's brain didn't end there. Within months, he was dismissed from Princeton Hospital for refusing to surrender the brain. He had also taken Einstein's eyes, sending them to the physicist's eye doctor, where they remain locked away in New York City. The brain itself began a bizarre journey. Harvey took it to a Philadelphia hospital where it was sliced into over 200 pieces and preserved in celloidin. The rest of the brain was stored in jars of formalin in Harvey's basement. As Harvey's personal life unraveled, so did the fate of Einstein's brain. When his marriage ended, his ex-wife threatened to throw the jars away. Harvey packed up and moved to the Midwest, the brain in tow. For a time, he worked in a biological testing lab in Kansas, keeping the brain in a cider box under a beer cooler. Later, he moved to Missouri, practicing medicine while studying the brain in his spare time. When he lost his medical license, he took a job in a plastic factory, still holding on to the brain. Harvey began sending pieces of Einstein's brain to researchers around the world, hoping to unlock the secrets of genius. But the scientific community wasn't exactly clamoring for samples. Most of the requests came from admirers, not neuroscientists. The brain's journey wasn't over yet. In 1997, Harvey set out on a cross-country road trip with a reporter, the brain riding in the trunk of a Buick Skylark, to meet Einstein's granddaughter. She refused to take the jars. After all, what do you do with a jar of brains? Eventually, the remains were returned to Princeton. Today, fragments of Einstein's brain are on display at the Mutter Museum in Philadelphia, mounted on microscope slides. They look unremarkable, just rows of what could be mistaken for kidney beans. Yet the story behind them is anything but ordinary. Einstein wasn't the only famous figure whose brain was preserved for study. The mathematician Carl Friedrich Gauss, the revolutionary leader Vladimir Lenin, and even Ishi, the last known member of the Yahi tribe, all had their brains removed and studied after death. Sometimes these acts were meant to honor their achievements. Other times, they crossed into exploitation. As a historian, I understand the value of studying the past, of learning from the remains of those who came before us. But Einstein's story is a stark reminder that the pursuit of knowledge must be balanced with respect for the individual. In our quest to understand genius, we crossed a line. We celebrated Einstein's mind, but in the end, we failed to honor his wishes as a person. Rest in peace, Albert Einstein. Your legacy endures, not just in science, but in the questions we ask about how far we should go in the name of discovery.